could be us.
Thank you for tuning in to Houston Recovery Radio. Houston Recovery Radio is a platform that tries to speak and bring people into the solution of recovery. We would like to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsor, Transformation Enzymes, who has been kind enough to let us use the space we are in to host Houston Recovery Radio. Transformation Enzymes is an integrative, holistic health and wellness company that specializes in enzyme therapy. Detoxing from drugs and alcohol is physically and emotionally taxing on our body. Transformation Enzymes has a clinically proven line of probiotics and digestive enzymes that help the healing process the body needs from all damage caused by addiction and alcoholism. For more information, visit the website at transformationenzymes.com. We would like to give a huge shout out to our guest tonight, and his name is Masson Stephan. Hi, Masson. How are you?
I'm doing great.
So, would you like to share your story with us, Masson? Begin where you want to.
Yeah, I was born in Houston, on the west side. Grew up out there, normal life. Both my parents were in the household. I have one sister. She's younger than 3 years. Did good in school. Everything was pretty good until, high school was good, pretty normal. I went to Cy Springs High School, and, back then it was like cow fields everywhere. Now you go over there and it's, the suburbs is super strange to go back to that area. And I graduated in 2003. After that, dabbled in college a little bit. I never went off to college, though, and that was a big regret for me. Really should have applied better, skills to manage my life after high school so I could go to college, and I really regret not doing that. I just stayed around town, and went to community college, and just really, my addiction started when I was really young. I used, first time I was like 11 or 12. So after high school, I, was like a normal user until after that, was partying and whatnot. And then I guess at some point it turned on me, right around the age of 19, 20 years, 19 or 20, everything was getting really bad. And I had an accident with a pistol, and I had a traumatic brain injury. I had almost lost my life because of my addiction I was using. And one night, and I had a gun, and had an accident, and it hit me, and it went through my brain. I almost died for sure. They gave me 10% chance of living or something. Told my parents to say goodbye to me and everything, and I stayed in a hospital for months, and that was my life-changing event. Everything was not the same after that. I've been basically recovering from it for the last 15 years. And at one point, I had a pass to go home from a treat, it was like a transitional living center in Galveston. Okay. And I was like pretty much like right after the injury, I was getting back, and I went home and I like got high, you know, and
Do you mind, Mason,
I didn't know how
sharing?
to.
Do you mind sharing with us what substances you used, Mason?
Well, at that time it was alcohol, marijuana, benzos, and cocaine powder.
Okay.
Those were my things, and I went home and I smoked weed. I didn't know how to like deal with life without using. It was so stressful, and after the brain injury, I didn't like think that drugs were the problem or something. I don't really know why somebody would have that kind of thing happen to them and immediately, like, the first chance I had, I picked up. That was just baffling to me. And so I got thrown in rehab, like my family found out or whatever later down the road, and I went to rehab. And so I'm like 21, and I'm in a um, the next step. It's not even around anymore. It's a halfway house that was in Third Ward. It was a terrible situation, and that's like I didn't think that maybe I should get to work and learn some skills or apply what I've learned or you know try to change my life at that point. It didn't click, and I really just ran with the wrong crowd there, and um, my addiction kept progressing. They say it's a chronic progressive illness, and that's what it was for me.
That's the definition of drug
And
addiction.
yeah, and so I I started smoking crack. That was the beginning of a decade. Um, like they say, I say, like decades will fly by in the blink of an eye, and that's what happened. It was like one day I was 20 years old, and the next thing you know, I was 30. It just seemed like it went by so fast because I was always in turmoil or whatever. Either like searching out a way to get high or recovering from using or dealing with the consequences of using or it was just all using. And with that, I whenever I talk to people and they're younger, when I like 20s or whatever, and I'm in a place and I have an opportunity to talk to young folks, and I'm like, when I was 20 and I had the opportunity to get sober, I didn't get sober, and I just regret it, And so I talk to people and I'm like, you just get it now. Don't go through what I went through, or more than a decade of putting myself at risk and um, putting my family through risk and turmoil and destruction, everything. But so I was I went through treatment like the last decade, just on and off. I would get like sober a couple months, maybe 90 days. One time there was a good point when I got 2 years sober. I was probably 27, 26 or something. and I was working at sober living. I was doing really well. I got my own place, got a roommate. Roommate relapsed. I relapsed with him, and then that went to like I got let go from that sober living job I had, and that really was like detrimental to my recovery. I don't know what I could have done different at that point, but it's just like a learning experience I had, for sure. And that was that. Um, that's what they told me. They said stick with the winners, and that was one thing I was struggling with, a lot.
What do you mean when
Was sticking with winners.
What do you mean when you say sticking with winners?
People that really want to change their lives, be sober, and are willing to do the work. For example, go to a meeting, talk to a sponsor, have a sponsor, hang out with other clean and sober people, try to enrich themselves with whatever kind of literature they choose, or whatever kind of information they choose, whatever platform. It doesn't have to be reading these days, but that's what they say. Reading books, and these days they have other types of platforms like this, or I get it from all over the place. But yeah, I think I finally, like, just after relapsing for like after having 2 years and relapsing for like another 2 years, I was just tired. I was just finally just tired, and I did not want to get high anymore. And I had an opportunity this time to go get like help from a facility that was qualified, because I did never have that opportunity before, and it really made the difference for me this time. I don't know. Recently, when I got sober this time, I just worked the steps. I went to meeting every day, and I got a sponsor the first meeting I went to, and I called him every day, and he worked me through the steps really quickly. And for me, that was the difference.
So
I don't know if other people have their own perspectives on it, but for me, it worked. It helped a lot to work.
So we're talking about the 12 steps of AA, NA, CA. What 12-step program?
I particularly like AA.
Okay.
And sometimes CA, just based on the fact that they use the same text. They use the same basic text or big book or whatever. Okay. And I was introduced to that. I was introduced to that program the first time I went to treatment, okay. And it stuck with me because I don't know why I did, but it just I liked it the best or whatever, and so I focus on the 12 steps of AA.
Okay.
And I worked the steps with my sponsor, and he's an AA guy, so we worked them out of the big book.
Okay. So how long have you been in the program of AA?
I would say, like, I don't know, on and off over a decade, but this time less than a year,
Less than a year?
Around a year. Yeah.
So when
But I worked steps in 4 months this time. Okay. I was just tired. I was just so ready to do whatever it took.
When you say you were tired,
and
when you say you were tired, tell me, what were you tired of? The constant going back and forth of using, or just the lifestyle that drugs bring? Or you mentioned consequences. What type of consequences were you in the county jail system, or can you share that? What type of consequences?
Yeah, I mean, I was boosting, I
Okay.
was stealing good deal to support my habit,
Okay.
and I got caught. I went to jail. So I was facing a little bit of time, not much, but I don't think the consequences is what I was tired of. It was the internal struggle. It was me just not liking myself because my actions were not what my values were.
So yeah,
And so,
your behavior
yeah,
wasn't matching who you were eternally on the inside. It was the substances that were controlling your behavior at that time, and you were just tired of it. And so when you had an opportunity to go into treatment, you took that opportunity.
right. I went to a mental health facility before I went to treatment, which made all the difference this time. Um, all the other times I went to treatment, I was like, in detox for whatever, a couple days, and then they throw you in treatment. And by the time I'm like at the end of my treatment is when I'm clearing up and I can finally function. And I don't know if that makes
It
sense.
does.
But do you understand
I
what I'm
do.
saying? It's
I
like
do understand.
I'm just to clear up my whole mind, and then 28 days, and I'm like, hey, I'm here, and they're like, you got to go. It's like this time I went to a facility for 3 weeks before I went to treatment and did a comprehensive evaluation and stabilization period, which made the whole like change. It made the whole world different. And then I went to treatment, and I just I got a lot out of treatment that time. I don't know. It was amazing. I just feel like a different
What
person,
did you get?
now that I'm
What did
sober.
you get out of treatment this time that you didn't all the other times?
I think I didn't get anything out of all the other times. I don't think I got treatment anything out of it. That's what I was saying. Is like I was just like trying to like function for a month. I could not function. And finally got stable, and this time I went to treatment, it was very like focused on other aspects of like life besides drum 12 steps down your throat, because I can go to meetings and I can get a sponsor, and I can learn the same thing that a treatment center will do. They give you a big book and take you to meetings every day. That's not what this treatment center was. It was a much different type of approach. And
Mason.
I just,
Yeah, Mason, tell us
um,
what type of approach that was. What type of approach was this treatment center?
I don't even know. It's very confusing. It's over my head. I don't know. It's it's a very like uh, I don't know how to explain it. I can't. It's
So
over
what
my
treatment
head.
center did you go
But
to?
they're like,
Can you name it?
I went to a, I
Yes.
can I? It's a
Yes,
question.
you can name the treatment center.
I went to Driftwood Recovery. It's right outside of Austin, Texas.
Driftwood
Driftwood
Recovery.
Recovery Center, and yeah, that's right after I went to Menninger. Though I was in Menninger for 3 weeks, and so
Menninger is a good
they
hospital.
they recommended Driftwood for me.
Menninger is a really good behavioral hospital. It's way up there as just being one of the top-notch behavioral hospitals, Menninger. So Menninger suggested you try Driftwood, and you went.
Right. The only reason I got to go to Menninger is because like a miraculous set of events happened. I don't know how it happened, but it changed my
Yes, you
life.
got the best possible care.
Like I'm speechless right now just talking about it. I don't know how that happened, but my experience there was like was amazing. That place was amazing, And I was just ready to do whatever, and they actually like got me funded to go to Driftwood Recovery, and so I didn't have to worry about getting like 28 days and you're out the door because your insurance runs out kind of situation. I was funded for the whole thing.
Wow, that's a
And
gift.
and so they yeah, it was a God thing. I think it was out of like anybody's hands. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I um was blessed. Let's just say that. Um
So how's your life now?
the My life now, I actually have a great
Share
life.
that with us.
Um, I I would say, well, I'm still in like a supportive and like not. I'm in a supportive housing situation.
Okay.
Um, I would say I wouldn't really even call it a sober house,
What would you
but
call it?
it's an Oxford house. But I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I
I
am.
don't
I'm
know.
familiar with Oxford houses.
I think it's the greatest thing ever invented, for somebody like me. It works good. I've been in sober living before and I just did not want to be in it. And I didn't want to do what they wanted me to do. And I wasn't ready. But like, you come here and you have freedom.
Oh,
And it's enough freedom for you to want to be there also.
so that's
I don't know, it just makes
no.
sense.
That's the difference from other sober living facilities is that they allow you some freedom. They're not so structured in the rules and the regulations, so they give you enough freedom where it makes you feel comfortable, so you're able to thrive within that setting and grow, make you feel comfortable to do what's necessary in your life to move forward.
Yeah, this is a really good situation. I'm actually the president of the house right
Wow.
now.
What are your duties detail?
Yeah, they I go to the chapter meetings and I represent the house at that, and I make the votes for the way Oxford works is a democratic process,
Okay.
and so that's the way it works. It's like nobody's in charge of anything,
When you said
and
democratic,
everything's voted on, and it's
that's what I was going to say. So when you say
yeah, so
democratic,
everything's voted on.
when you said democratic process, that means everybody has a say, so everybody gets to vote. So the majority wins.
Yeah, it's a majority vote. You have to be voted into Oxford.
Okay.
The house has to accept you by a 80% vote
Wow. So 80
of the house members.
80% of the people voted for you to be the president.
Um, they accepted me to the house, and then it's just a much. Well, I don't think it's 80. It's only 80% for the house to accept you.
Okay.
Everything else is only a 51% vote.
Oh, okay.
Has to pass. Um, yeah, I kind of just represent the house at the whenever our houses get together. It's called the
Uh huh.
chapter, and so I go to these chapter meetings and represent the house, and I run the little house meeting every week. It's a big like it boosts my confidence. It's like I wasn't good at anything. I didn't feel like, and I do this, and I push through like the fear of failure, and I have support doing it, and it worked out because they're keeping me as president right now. That's
Well,
good.
that's because
They haven't
well,
vetoed me.
that's because you're bringing what's needed within the house. So if you're bringing what's needed within the house, what that means that you have integrity, you have leadership skills, you have qualities that you possess within you in order to make sure that things within that house stay in some sort of structure. So, so you're doing a good job, and that's why they haven't voted you out.
Yeah, I think it's been really good for me. I don't know. It's been enough responsibility for me to like want to be responsible, I guess. I don't know if that
It
makes sense,
does.
but I
It does
think
make sense.
um, like before I didn't want to be responsible because I didn't like reap the benefits of responsibility or something. But now I'm like, I just want to be responsible. I just want to be like a grown up, and I want to be like independent, and that's all happening through
Well,
recovery.
like you said earlier, you said that when you meet younger people in recovery, when they're young, and you tell them, they should change their lives at that moment. And so, where you are now in your life, you just want to lead by example. You want to show others that recovery is possible. It's going to take hard work, it's going to take all of who you are to become who you are meant to be. And so by being this person, you don't have to speak words because now you're showing other individuals how to move forward in their recovery process. So this brings you to a state of contentment, satisfaction in your life, where you um, take that in, and it helps you become more mature, more responsible to be this person in society, to show others that, again, recovery is possible, that we don't have to stay in our active addiction. However, see, a lot of people don't understand that when they get into recovery, that it's going to take some work, that it's not handed to you. People have to see around you, like at the Menninger Clinic, they saw that you had the willingness to do what was being asked of you. And when people see that, they are more able to help you to achieve your goals, right? To get you into the right places that you need to in order so you can thrive as a human being. And so by you being where you needed to be in those moments, and then by them seeing you grow, they gave you that helping hand to move forward. So all you're doing today is that you're showing others and you're giving them the helping hand so they can move forward in their own recovery process as well. Would you say that's correct, Mason?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. And you have a way with words. I know that. So
Thank you. Yeah, considering I was active in my addiction for 25 years as well, and my substance was crack cocaine. And you figure that I wouldn't have the ability to retain any information, and look at me now, thriving and living life, and go figure, right? So, because like you, I like,
yeah, that
yeah.
I really like that term thriving, and I thought about it a lot when I was like struggling more. That I was just surviving. I was barely
Hmm.
surviving. Now I'm thriving. Like I'm not, I'm not just surviving. I'm thriving. I'm,
You're living to your full
I'm out of there.
potential.
I'm getting to the fourth dimension. Yeah,
Yes.
something happened this time. I don't know. It was amazing. I think my sponsor was a good fit for me. He was handed to me by another man. He thought that I would be a good fit for this
Okay.
guy, and so he kind of was just like, "Here, meet this guy," and we hit it off. And I like the way he works with me, and we work together good. And um, it's a good fit. I like working with my sponsor this time, and he got me through the steps fast. And I am just trying, like, with all this stuff that's going on right
Yes.
now, it's hard for me to get a sponsee. And that's really where I'm at. Like, I need a
Oh
sponsee.
no.
Maybe that's what he tells me. And
You're on Houston
yeah,
Recovery Radio,
so
Mason. And Mason is looking for sponsees so that he can sponsor. So if you want, after the show, reach out to us and we will hook you up with Mason. There you go.
right on. Yeah, There we go.
So you had
Um,
your fit with your sponsor
yeah.
is a good fit. So because y'all are good for one another, it helps you to be able to work through the steps successfully in your life, right?
Well, yeah, he's pretty straightforward on it, and that's what I needed. And plus, I was just willing to do whatever he said, and I didn't have any excuses not
Okay.
to left because I had used them all in the past. And I was just like, all right, all right, all right, I'll do it, and willing to be vulnerable and grow through vulnerability. Sorry, I
No,
can't
that's
say
a
that
great
word right
word
now.
to grow through
But
vulnerability.
yeah, it's really kind of a cornerstone in my recovery. It's a lot with my treatment center that I went through. We worked a lot with that. Just being vulnerable and growing and putting yourself out there, and that I reaped a lot of benefits from that. I think that's a good practice for anybody to do, you know, in the right setting. I mean, you could be, it can be scary or whatever, but to be completely transparent with another person or a group of people, um, I needed
Yes.
that because I had been really not honest at all ever since I was a kid.
Vulnerability. Now you say you like that word. That's a cornerstone. Vulnerability. Vulnerability to be vulnerable in situations. Most people do not like being vulnerable. Being transparent scares an individual. But in fact, being vulnerable helps you grow through that fear and through that pain because it's only through that pain process and that fear is where you'll grow, right? Because pain helps you grow. In the beginning of my recovery, being vulnerable was something that I wasn't good at either, Mason, because I didn't want to see people, I didn't want others to look at me and think that I was scared, right? Because I'm not supposed to be scared in society, right? I'm supposed to be this big, tough, bad person, right? And being scared and weak is just not like the cool thing to do, right? But in fact, as I continue to remain in my recovery process, I realized that being vulnerable helped me to grow. It helped me become who I am today. As for you, it's helped you become who you are today. This thriving, living by example person, a productive citizen within society who loves lives, who's able to live life on life's terms. I know some AA cliches because in the beginning I sat in the rooms and I sat in those programs, but I did them all. I did them all because I picked and I choose what was beneficial for Cecilia to be successful in her life. So, a lot of those cliches, no feeling is final is one of my favorites. No feeling is final. Which ones in the program of the cliches stick out the most for you?
Um, Live and let live. I was always trying to either change something, but really that's like um, one of my favorites, I think. There's a lot. I don't know. I can't think of them right now. So, like one day at a time is the one that we all
Yes.
know, but that one helps me the most, almost out of everything, because I'll be like caught up in my own head for a whole day thinking about the past or the future, and then next thing you know, like it's tomorrow already. And so if I'm just focused on like small tasks and like goals, daily goals, that's helped me tremendously just get through like hard times. Like in recovery, like hard times, like what am I going to do today? And I just have small goals that I accomplish, like get up, do hygiene, make it to work on time,
To the next right thing.
and even get yeah, getting to work on time is like a process for me. And that's like my day is if I'm at work on time, man, I'm like, I'm accomplished something. And
Yes.
that makes me feel a lot better than the rest of the day, or that makes me feel better for the rest of the day. And I'm like, all right, I can do this.
So,
Getting to work on time. Today I almost didn't get there. I was like 1 minute late,
one
and they're
minute,
like,
a
okay.
whole 60 seconds, Mason. A whole 60
Yeah,
seconds late.
no, it was literally a minute late. I'm usually there like 15 minutes early,
Yeah.
and just so I'm there on time.
Yes.
And I was there like right at the time I was supposed to be there, and I felt like a little worried that I was going to get in trouble or something. They didn't say anything, but
So let me ask you, back when you were in your active
yeah,
addiction,
yeah.
when you were in your active addiction, did you ever think that you would be where you are now?
Um, I don't know. I don't think so. No. Well, that's another thing. Is like I would get sober for a little bit, and my life would not be thought it should be immediately. It took a little bit of time, and I had to build a life worth staying sober for. Is something somebody told me once, and it stuck with me, and that's what I'm doing right now. It's like
Yes.
if I don't have a life worth staying sober for, I'm not going to stay sober.
Yeah, but you build this life, right? You work so hard to be where you're at that a hit off that crack pipe is just not worth it anymore.
Not at all.
Yes.
Not at all.
Because you created this life where
Yeah.
you are now. And you worked.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't even fathom what was going through my head at those times where I was sober. I was sober and I would pick up. That's the craziest thing to me. I would be completely sober, like not just like a day sober, but like weeks and months sober, and then I would pick up. And I can't even understand what was going through my head at that time. And I don't really have to. It's not like something, but
No.
now I don't have that. I don't have that. It doesn't happen anymore. I think the fact that I worked my steps and the obsession was removed, like it says in the book. Straight up, I worked all the steps. I mean, I think I still do step 12 without sponsoring people as the best I can.
Yes.
It doesn't say you're a sponsor. That's not what it says in the 12th step. It says carry the message.
And I think that
And
you do that. I think that you carry the message. I think that for me, this is my perception on the 12 steps. We learned how to live life in a structured format, right? We become structured, right? So we have steps on what we need to take a look at in our lives, right? So we apply these steps in our lives and we learn to take a look at ourselves, right? Because we're always looking at ourselves on how we respond and how we react to others. We're always cleaning up our side of the street. And what I mean by that is that we're constantly checking ourselves, right? We become these people where it's important to show up, right? Because we become people of integrity, right? We have integrity. We are responsible, and these are the people that we have always been. So what the program for me in my early recovery taught me how to live a structured life, how to have a foundation on which to stand upon to move forward. And the best of all for me was my relationship with God, okay? Because in that whole book, it talks about God, your higher power, right? God. And so for me, in the
yeah,
beginning, it was my relationship with how God was in my life, right? Not so and so's life, not so and so's life, but my life, right? My life. So as I sat and I continued to be in those rooms, I feel like I practiced those steps without having to be in the rooms. Okay, because I live that life. I live a recovery lifestyle, Mason. You're living a recovery lifestyle. And because we live a recovery lifestyle, our foundation that we built, that we stand upon, when life wants to come at us sideways, because it will, and it'll try to kick our ass, and it'll try to knock us down. But we stand firmly grounded on the foundation that we have built in order to deal with life's issues and uncomfortableness and that trauma that likes to come in sometimes. And so, because we built this foundation, nothing in life can stop us, right? Because through our heartache, through our pain, through our destruction, it made us who we are today. So, whenever that tries to come at us in a different way in life, we're able to be okay with it, right? So, that's what the program is teaching you, right? It teaches you that. And by working these steps, you work them actually every day. I personally do Celebrate Recovery, and we're doing a second book on Celebrate Recovery, right? Because we're still talking about hurts, habits, and hang-ups, but it's a different setting, right? Because we're no longer wanting to use, we just want to become better versions of ourselves. And by having this conversation with you, it seems like you want to become a better person, a version of yourself. And you're doing a really great job, Mason. I applaud you for
Thank you.
a job well done. So, if you wanted to share with others who are coming into recovery, who are newcomers, like into your program, what is something that you would like to say to those individuals coming into the program?
Never give up. You only are gonna fail once you stop trying, because that's what it was for me.
Okay.
I never gave up. I just, you know, it's been a long time of the first since the first time I tried to get
Yes.
sober, and finally, you know, feel like I got it better than I have before. I'm not saying I got it, but I feel like I'm doing better now than I've ever done before. And it's just because I didn't give up. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Take suggestions. Find somebody that you really would listen to what they have to say and talk to them. That's helped me also. I don't know. I was really hard headed and I didn't really ever want to listen to anybody. But whenever I was willing to do that, it changed my life, really.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Okay. You shared a lot, Mason. And so I'm listening to your story and seeing how you're thriving in your life, right? And even by at the Oxford house and how you have these responsibilities within that household. What are your plans for the future? When you leave, what do you foresee in the future for you, Mason? What is it that you look forward to?
Uh, I'm going to go back to school. This has already been like before all of this crisis that happened. I had got involved in getting back into school, but since that happened, it's kind of put a damper on
Mm-hmm.
that, I think. And so my plan is to go back to school. I think I need to be challenged,
What do you?
and if I don't get challenged, I'm not gonna want to. You know, life is challenging enough, but I need a little bit more these days.
Hmm. So, what are you going to take when you go back to
What
school?
were you?
What are you going to take when you go back to school?
I think I'm gonna take some welding
Okay.
classes. I have before, and I enjoyed it, but I was always not sober. So I think being sober has helped everything. And so why wouldn't it help me be successful in school?
Yeah.
More successful than I was before. So um, I'm looking into that. Actually, I also live like a 15, not even 15, like 10-minute walk from the campus.
What campus are we talking about,
So
Mason?
it's an ACC campus. Uh, yeah, it's the one that has all the technical trades at it also. So It's
It's
perfect.
perfect.
I don't know why I wouldn't do that.
So have you checked into the
Yeah.
school and the tuition? Or you can get funded for that, right?
Yeah, I applied for FAFSA, and I'm just kind of waiting on what to do next. I don't know. I was actually being helped by a counselor for, a little bit, but like things happened. This COVID-19 pandemic has really put a little halt on that for now.
Okay, so
But that's my plan. This little job, and I'm going to go to school and try to be like get a career, some type of career. I gotta keep pushing forward.
but you're always going to stay grounded.
I like to
Yeah.
challenge myself.
You're always going to stay grounded in helping others in the recovery process, right, Mason? You're going to help others?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's got to be number one. That's gonna be every day, like, um, at least like my base.
You're going to find balance.
That's like, what am I doing? Yeah. Um, right now it's pretty easy to do that, like to find like ways to get out of myself because of this setting
Mm-hmm.
I'm in. But I don't know if that's going to be like forever. I doubt I'll be here for forever. And so I'll have to find another way to be of service. Being of service is very beneficial to people in all types of settings, not just in recovery, you know? But
Being needed within a community.
I never wanted to be a.
I said
What is that? Say it
being
again?
needed within a community, being felt the need to feel needed. It's a part of the humanness that we have within us, right? Always wanting to be accepted or loved by others, because being accepted and being loved by others helps us thrive, right? And then to give back, because we are in recovery, to give back to others that are still out there active in their addiction, to people that have lost their way in life, who are consumed by using substances in their lives. So by helping others, it helps us stay focused and grounded in our own process. And number one, never forgetting where we come from, right? Well, that's one of my things, is that I will never forget where I came from, because I know what made me. And just keeping that with me and remembering those years of living in hell and being in my active addiction has made me who I am today. So this is another question that I'm going to ask you. Do you regret? Do you regret anything of your yesterdays?
Yeah, I mean, I I don't know if I regret it because really, yeah, what I've gone through has made me who I am. So I understand where, like, I wish there was like a different way, but there couldn't have been another way for me to be who I am right now. I guess it's just like one of those things where it's like acceptance, you know. It is what it is, and I can't change it. So why not just accept it and move forward? And um, I mean, my brain injury was one of the most most life changing thing that ever happened to me. But I still have struggles with that, and that's since 2005. That's when that happened. And I don't even know if I would like to change that, except for the fact that it was like scary for my family. There's aspects of it that are kind of positive because I would never got sober. That's what brought me into recovery was that event happening. So everything has a positive, I
Yes,
think, and everything there's just a fine way of balancing things.
that's right. That's
I don't know if that answers the
no, no, no.
question,
You
but
answered it. You
that's
answered
right.
the question right.
Before we wrap it up, his mom Libby wants to say that that she loves you.
Your mom is watching you, Libby, and she wants to say she loves you very much. Ashley Locke wants to say that she loves you. Mason, do you have any shout outs that you want to give out to? Any shout outs you want to give out to anybody out there?
I would give a shout out back to Ashley and my mom and my dad. Yeah, I love them too. And, I don't know. No, I don't know.
Well, Mason.
Kind of got me like, you kind of got me, I don't know that one. I don't know anybody, but.
Mason,
Nah.
I just want to say it was a real pleasure meeting you tonight. Keep on thriving, keep on being successful, keep on moving up to the next level. And we're proud of you here at Houston Recovery Radio. And thank you. Thank you for being a guest tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, Mason. We'll see you later, okay?
Bye, guys. And thank you for hanging out. Okay, let me see. Let me put my glasses on. Thank you for tuning into Houston Recovery Radio. We have another guest next week on Monday at 8 o'clock, Christy Peters. We are struggling to find equipment for our audio production side of things. If any of y'all want to donate any equipment to Houston Recovery Radio, please give us a shout out at Facebook or Twitter. We have a GoFundMe page. Anything helps, even if it's $5. The money we raise will help us give more and more back to the community. We also have